Deputy President David Mabuza and Minister of Women in the Presidency, Batabili Dlamini, will reportedly be excluded from President Cyril Ramaphosa's reconfigured cabinet following this month's general elections. The Sunday Times reported that sources close to the president said he was willing to risk a backlash from African National Congress structures which supported Dlamini, who is also the president of the RNC Women's League, by overlooking her for a cabinet post. According to the publication, a deal was apparently being brokered that could see Mabuza deployed to Lutula House as the governing party's highest-ranking full-time functionary, with RNC Treasurer General Paul Mashatile set to move to the Union Buildings as the country's second-in-command. Those close to Mabuza claimed that he was extremely reluctant to return to the Union Buildings, saying he preferred to rather consolidate his power base in the RNC, particularly in his home province of Mpumalanga. Unspecified health concerns were also cited as among Mabuza's reasons to exit his current post. Sources also claimed that Environmental Affairs Minister Nomvula Mokonyane was unlikely to return to the National Executive. RNC National Executive Committee members expected to be in the new executive apparently included new faces like David Masondo, Ronald Lamola, and Zizi Kodwa. ANC elections head, Fikile Mbalula, is also set for a return to the cabinet, this time as Human Settlements Minister. Ronald Lamola, a member of the RNC's top governing body, is being considered for rural development and land affairs, a position currently held by Mayatinko Animashlabani. Energy Minister Geoffrey Deby looks set for a return to the Justice Ministry, and Jackson Mthembu is likely to be deployed to communications, the Sunday Times indicated. Masondo could take over one of the key ministries in the economic cluster, the paper reported. Ramaphosa will reportedly meet with the ANC Women's League on Sunday to give assurances that there would be adequate women representation in his new cabinet. The League had called on the president to ensure that he appointed a cabinet with half of the office bearers being women. They had made a similar call leading up to the RNC's nomination of premier candidates, but their expectations were not met. The ANC Women's League said it was deeply disappointed after only 2 of the 8 provinces the party governs would be led by women. There was mounting pressure on Ramaphosa to choose wisely when putting together his cabinet, with economists and political analysts warning that the country's political future hinges on the decision. The RNC president recently told investors that he would pick men and women in his cabinet who would help achieve his goal to grow the economy. Speaking at an investor conference this week, Ramaphosa made it clear that his new cabinet will be made up of competent individuals who will focus on growing South Africa's economy. It is widely expected that the cabinet will be reduced from 35 departments to around 25, or even fewer. This could lead to a merging of the departments of sports and arts and culture, with Zizi Kodwa potentially a minister or deputy there, the Sunday Times said. Considering the party's controversial list of MPs, the president may be hamstrung internally into putting familiar faces into positions of power. While Ramaphosa has already taken aim at corruption by sacking some compromised ministers and officials and empowering investigations, much of his party still hasn't gotten the message, Bloomberg recently pointed out. Several high-profile malefactors have been re-elected to Parliament. Ramaphosa needs to keep them out of his cabinet. He also needs to make sure that those responsible for engaging in past acts of corruption are held to account. To that end, the president must ensure that the National Prosecuting Authority has the resources it needs. It also said that the president should replace the public protector, who has not lived up to the high standards set by her predecessor. Ramaphosa must convince unions staunch ANC backers that there is more to be gained by expanding opportunity and competition than by maintaining the bloated payrolls of Eskom and other state-owned enterprises. For too long, the ANC has corralled votes by effectively ring-fencing the privileges of the minority of South African workers with formal jobs. To provide the ANC's promised better life for all, Ramaphosa should put his country before his party. If Ramaphosa does so, both may come out on top. Ramaphosa was expected to announce his government after his inauguration on Saturday the 25th of May 2019 at Loftus Versfeld Stadium, Pretoria. Please check in the description box below for the links to the sources of this report. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe.